A man becomes wise when he learns to filter the signal from the noise and the truth from the lies in order to find the diamonds in the dirt. My friends, each and every day, that is basically what we are doing. We are filtering. We are looking for the signals, both in the volume and on the Heikin Ashi candlesticks, that tell us what the market is doing. Now, those signals aren't always there, and if they're not there, we don't know what to do. So guess what? We don't do anything. But if the signals are there and we have reliable trading information from the past on the charts that we have been trading with, and we know that the large majority of the time those signals are telling us that the market's getting ready to go down, the market's getting ready to go up, that particular stock or ETF is going up or down, that is when we trade. Now we further add some specificity to that where we do what? We set our one-time ATR on our 2-day chart. It's right over here. It's a volatility metric. And again, it helps us go ahead and lock in the first amount of profit from one time the ATR on the 2-day chart because we're trading off the weekly candle. We lock in that first bit of profit, sell half the trade, and then to let the rest of it ride. That way we minimize our losses and hopefully have none. In fact, we at least have the first half of that trade as a profit, and we let the other part of the trade run. And then we just let that profit run on until we decide to close the trade. Maybe when it reverses, maybe when we've done maybe 2 times ATR, whatever it is we've set up as our potential parameters. It is just that simple and it's just that complicated. That's why we practice 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. We don't ask you to stop your job and turn around and again, make this a full-time effort. No. And in fact, if you did that, you would drive yourself crazy. It's the each and every day in and out of the market that teaches you the nuances that you need in order to make it work. Let's jump into these charts. We're looking at the S&P 500 first. It is down along with the NASDAQ. The S&P is down 0.67%. What do we see going on here? Well, we are starting the week off with a weekly spinning top. We can see just a little bit of volume here. Again, we've got 4 more days left for this to really pop. But I would call your attention to the fact that we have an interim high last week. Now, we don't have a green up candle. It's a smaller candle. But again, we see a great deal of volume there. It opened lower than the prior close. And now we have what could possibly be a turnaround candle. We're just 1 day in, so we're just looking ahead at what might be happening on Friday. We have a green spinning top here, or even a red down candle. Could be a signal to us that this market is rolling over. It's nowhere near the prior high. Could it hit that high again? Of course it could, but we're just thinking, okay? Look at this 2-day candle. It is a forming right now, first day of the latest 2-day candle. It is a strong down candle. And again, over halfway, maybe halfway to the volume there. We'll see how that ends up tomorrow. And you can see on the half-day candle how it just plummeted through the weekly trend line as we start this week. It recovered some in the afternoon. It was down a whole lot more in the morning, but again, a down day. So let's keep our eye on this, see where this market goes. That's the S&P. Let's look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ not as clear. We did have, again, high volume last week. We had a red spinning top after a green up candle. We have to go all the way back to the most latest high, or the high that we see. And that, of course, occurred when? Well, that occurred all the way back on the 16th of December. Since then, we've not touched that, and now we're going to the second week of a down move. It was down 0.80%. Like the S&P, big down candle in the morning. That's what pierced that. Well, that's, again, even pierced this down weekly trend line. We can see how it reverted. And, of course, we look at the 2-day about halfway there on the volume. Again, a down candle forming after green candle, the prior one, the Thursday, Friday, went nowhere. So we'll keep our eye on the NASDAQ 100 as well as the S&P as the week develops. Now, going into our third week of up movement as bonds just keep chugging along, 0.45% up. Third week had nice high volume last week. That prior week we didn't. We had that interim low back in mid-January followed by this move over going up, but it didn't give us clear volume to show us that that was really a low, although things are moving in the right direction as we go into the third week on bonds. So being long bonds is not bad. What about gold? Man, gold just keeps on keeping on. Popped up again today, 0.53%. We have blown out that prior high. We peaked above it on the wick last week. And of course, this first green candle, Heikin-Ashi candle, moving right through it on the weekly, on the 2-day. With look at all that volume, almost up to the average volume, just day one, another day to go. You can see all the volume in the morning and petered off like stocks did a little bit in the afternoon. So again, gold just keeping going. That's great. Bitcoin, on the other hand, pulling back 0.19%. We can see the big down move in the morning, a little bit of a recovery in the afternoon with lots of indecision there. Decent volume both morning and afternoon. Look at all the volume on this first day of the 2-day candle on Monday, already above average volume, going down. Look at all the volume on the weekly, just the first day of this week after lots of volume the last 2 weeks. Bitcoin just not being able to reach that other high and pulling over, going down. So we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin. Say, Tom, what is the inverse of Bitcoin? Well, if you want to try your hand at that, we had a great trade a few months ago running down on Bitcoin, BITI. And you can see it's pretty liquid. The sell price, $21.96, the buy price, $22.02. So just a few cents apart to jump in. If you think Bitcoin is going to be going down, you can practice. And again, we're not a stock calling service, not a Bitcoin calling service, gold calling service, bond calling service. We're an education firm. Want you to practice with us. You can sure practice this if you think it's a good time as we go through this week and into the next to short Bitcoin. You can try your hand at a good practice trade. That is where we are, my friends. We always love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.